Have you ever had a circumstance, you come from a research institution, have either of you had a circumstance where you were engaged in a clinical trial and a drug shortage affected the clinical trial?
Absolutely. And that is one of our planning pieces when we're making a plan for our organization is, are any of our clinical trials going to be impacted by this specific product? In some
Because
cases,
they're ongoing.
right, and in
They could
some cases
disrupt
they
them.
need a specific NDC, and so in some cases if we can get the same product but a separate NDC, we'll try to preserve the clinical trial from being impacted. But the manager of our investigational drug service is on our daily huddles about shortages because it's that important.
So I'm imagining the great Karnak from Johnny Carson's Late Show. What sort of activities do you engage in? Do you Magic 8 Ball, what's coming next? What sort of data tools do you use to figure out what might be coming? Is it sentinels, weather balloons? What does it look like?
I think we start looking, you have to look, and I talk to the wholesalers about this all the time because it drives me nuts, because a shortage will come out and we've got to go to drug B or drug C or drug D, and they'll come out and go, well, what's your anticipated usage? It's like, guys, you know what we were buying of this. We're going to buy this much of it or this much or whatever. You guys figure it out, but we need it. And I don't have the time or the resources to pull all that data in and make a calculation and put it on a nice spreadsheet and tie it up with a bow and send it. So I think that's part of the stuff that drives me nuts too, is the wholesaler piece. Sometimes they kind of go, well, no, it's not us, it's the vendor, and sometimes we get into just-in-time inventory with them as well. So that's one of the things that keeps me up at night. You were talking about what keeps me up at night. That's one of the things that keeps me up at night.
Sure. Yeah, I call those fake shortages. You know, we have enough shortages.
Fake shortages.
Yes, fake
Okay.
shortages. So
That made news.
it did, right? We have enough shortages right now to manage without a fake shortage because our wholesaler or somebody didn't do their job and purchase a product that actually is available. We're managing many, many shortages over here. We don't need these fake shortages. So sometimes that's increasing our PARs. Sometimes that's having
Or PARs. This
so-
is not
so-
golf.
Sure, how much you normally would keep in stock.
Ah,
So,
okay.
you know, yeah, mins and maxes, like when you would
Your
reorder
calipers.
something. Yeah. So you might need to increase that. And we have many, many discussions with our wholesalers about what is your par for this. You need to keep a week's worth on hand.
But it sounds to me like what you're describing is not only do you need this forecasting and anticipation of what might be coming, reading the tea leaves, if you will, keeping abreast of what's going on in manufacturing, but also that there's a bit of it has to be a community of folks that behaves ethically as well in some ways, right? So you can't have one system hoarding, or there's what's that community of good behavior look like, or do you have some bad actors from time to time?
Yeah, I mean, we have bad actors within our own system, and you know they will go out and grab stuff up.
I mean, I'm reminded of when there was
somebody else,
the Relenza shortage.
Mhm.
If I remember, it was Relenza shortage, and when you'd have physicians pull it off the shelf for their own personal use. What kind of, does stuff like that go on pretty frequently?
I mean, it
Depends on the
can
drug.
happen. I mean, people are human, right? And the first thing that people do when they see something that's short is they try to get as much of it as they can. And to Rich's point, that's not
It's a
always
natural
the
human
best.
reaction,
It's
right?
natural, but then you might be stuck with a product that you can't even use in your system. We've certainly seen examples of that even in our own organization where someone buys up, some hydromorphone, but it's a really weird concentration, and now we have to figure out a plan for how to use that up, and so it happens. But I think, I don't know, I'm an optimist, and I think most people do want to do a good job and do want to do the best for their patients.
Within your community of pharmacist leads, are there folks, actors in and around that exacerbate problems?
Yeah, and we know who they are, and we'll get to them first. I know, and one of the other important things is communication. Executive hospitals will compete, but pharmacy is a small world. Yes. We know each other, we work with each other, we go to conferences together, and we talk. So when we get the doc that comes in, or the nurse practitioner that says, "Well, I got it at Hospital X. They have it down the street. Why don't you guys have it?" Well, you know what? They don't have it because we talked to them this morning. So you know, that's how we kind of keep everybody together. I think it's keeping open lines of communication and being honest.
So you've got a community of folks that, you know, the honest rule of communicating with each other in the marketplace as purchasers. That sounds to me that it might be at risk for a teacher's lounge effect from time to time. Do you sort of gripe and you get to the bar at a conference and go, hey, you know, this is happening, or this person, or this manufacturer? Because it sounds to me, again, it's a bit of a social circle for all of you in this unique space.
Yeah, you know, I think it is odd, you know, sometimes when shortages are mentioned in a conference or anything, and if I'm in the room, people will point to me, and it's, I didn't create the shortages, but I think they know how focused I am on that problem. And you know, I think it is like anything, you know, we talk about our challenges, and drug shortages are a really frustrating challenge, and so we do talk about it.
And we have clinical pearls. So what do you guys? Hey, what are you guys doing? You know, I know people. I can pick up the phone in other organizations and say, hey, this shortage is coming. What are you guys doing? Or what have you seen? What are you hearing? You know, because some people have straight lines to vendors that I may not have access to. So I think it's the sharing part and the open communication. You know, we're all in it together. We're here to take care of our patients, and that's what we try to do.
So Aaron, you get a phone call from the administration tomorrow. They say, we want you to move to DC. We're starting a new position in the suburbs of DC out at the FDA, and it's the FDA czar for drug shortages, and you can do whatever you want. What would you do?
I said I would help them on a consultative basis, but you know, FDA can't fix this problem. This is industry's problem to fix. FDA can help. I do help FDA and other government agencies when called upon. You know, I fly to DC very regularly to help out with those meetings. But on the whole, this is not FDA's problem to fix. So I would say I will help you consultatively, but you don't need me there in DC at FDA.
Is there a need for an organization? So USP is private, correct? There's a lot of private entities that figure out how to self-regulate markets or help stabilize markets. Any possibilities there?
They're publicly traded companies. Some are family owned. It's unfortunately, you know, it's capitalism. You know, they need to make a dollar, but they need to make a safe product. And sometimes those two don't intersect. So yeah, I don't know if government oversight, I think it needs to come from within, and the industry needs to step up, and some people need to take the lead on the industry side and say, hey, this is bad. This can't keep happening.
And I do think I'm very encouraged. So FDA's current drug shortage task force that they've recently formed actually includes many other government agencies. Folks like CMS are there at the table, along with FDA. And so right now we actually have, in many places in pharmacy, regulations contradicting each other. And so, you know, we've had the opportunity to have those discussions. Results from that task force won't be available until the end of 2019. But I think it's good that FDA and Commissioner Gottlieb have gotten a larger table of folks to think about this problem.
Well, I want to thank a great panel that we've had today. Thanks for joining us on Pharmacy Times Peer Exchange yet again, and we'll see you next time.